pay me $200,000 over 4 or 5 years, and everything's yours. It's all yours. And I said, he goes, think about it. He goes, why don't you think about it? And I said, I thought about it. I don't want it. I could tell he was a little shocked in a way, but he knew that I was pissed. I mean, we worked with each other for years. I mean, I took care of things for him. I knew things about him. And I could read him pretty good. I've seen him fuck over people before, IRA, some of the other accounts. And I'm thinking, my initial thought was, I knew after a year the feds weren't going away, because the feds, they take their time, So he was playing it like the year was over, and he, all of a sudden he wants out. He's got enough money. All of a sudden he wants out when he thinks everything's quiet. So of course when he said, I can buy him out for $200,000, I immediately said no. I'm thinking, I could see in his eyes that he was laying a trap, and the trap was he would get out unscathed, and I would be the owner of the vending company. If the feds were still investigating it, he would be in the Bahamas or Belize or wherever the hell he was going to go with his money, and I'd be left holding the bag. I knew I was doing collections at some of these accounts. We lost, Richie's account. We lost a couple other accounts. Some accounts were coming up for contract renewal, and he didn't want to give him any money. So I'm thinking like he's already got he's already got one foot out the door. He said, well, think about it. So he starts his big push. His Penny calling my wife or sister. Oh, it's a good deal. My wife was kind of in the dark about things, and she's like, I have nothing to do with it, Penny. It's between Paul and Sonny, and this and that. We have the bar now, and it would be too much. And well, he's done a lot for Paul and this and that. So I'm getting it from both ends. I did a lot for you, all did for you, and my wife's getting it from her sister. Here, I thought I was different. I was family, his brother-in-law. He was kind of a mentor, but I should have known otherwise, because Phil told me for years, you got to watch him because, he fucks people. And I should have known, because he actually fucked over Phil. So I go see Phil. So I go see him, and I'm telling him this, and he's like, I told you, brother. He goes, you got to watch him. Eventually he fucks everybody. Take me for instance. He goes, me and him are tight as a tick. And then one of our accounts was coming up for sale, and Sonny didn't want to lose it because Sonny's been losing accounts. And he asked Phil to fucking deny the transfer of the liquor license. And Phil's like, I can't do that because the guy's lawyer that's behind the place, Phil's known this guy for 50 years. And he's like, I can't, I've known you, but I can't, lock this up, And he goes, you got to do this for me. You got to do this for me because I'm losing so many accounts. So, Phil has the hearing. He brought this up. Phil had the hearing, and Sonny couldn't make it up. So Sonny calls me, says, you need to go over that hearing. A lot of people were there for and against this license being transferred, because it was a contested bar in Towson, which is a business district where they had a lot of licenses, and they didn't want a whole lot more there and all. So Sonny calls me and says, go to the hearing. I want you to stand up in the back and let Phil see you. And the reason they wanted Phil to see me, because Phil knew that he knew my reputation around town. Not that I was going to pressure Phil or not push Phil around, but he wanted Phil to see me, that send him a message. So I go in there, they're having the hearing, it was on a Thursday, and they're in there talking, and then towards the end of it, I'm standing up in the back, and Phil sees me. And he was fixated on me. He knew I was there, so he knew Sonny sent me there. And it was to jar him a little bit to say, hey, you need to do us this favor, So Phil did a favor in a sense. He said, okay, we're going to adjourn until Monday. Right now, we're not going to transfer the license. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days. Wasn't good enough for Sonny. The license ended up transferring. Phil said, I can't hold it up anymore. That's the best I can do, 4 days. If you couldn't work a deal out with that guy and that lawyer, that's the best I could do. So they had a falling out, and that was it. They were done. So Phil's a piece of shit all of a sudden. So that was the other thing I was thinking. So if Phil's a piece of shit and he's not talking to Phil anymore, he's definitely on his way out, because we need Phil for certain things. And if he's willing to let Phil go by the wayside, he's fucking done with this business. So I'm telling Phil what's going on, and he said, you did the right thing not accepting that. He goes, I didn't tell you this early, but, the feds may be onto him because he was charged federally in a case years ago. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, well, he worked for an investment firm years ago. I think up in Boston. It was up in Boston, I think. He got in a lot of trouble. He was doing investments for this guy who was very wealthy. The guy had like Alzheimer's. So Sonny starts embezzling money. He embezzled, I think, a couple $1 million from this guy. So his sons find this out after a couple years. He's slowly taking his money out. Call the feds, get the feds involved, and he gets locked up. He's in jail waiting trial. So he's married to Penny, Ann's sister. Phil's the family connection. He asked for help. So of course Phil, contacts all his political friends in Baltimore. Most of them are lawyers, and they get together, they go up there, and they work this plea thing out. So you get him out, time served. He served a couple months waiting for trial. And the restitution, give the money back. But the thing was, Sonny was smart. He liquidated a lot of that cash, or most of the cash, and he hid it. So he had to turn over all the money, and he had a house. Any asset he had to turn over, and they accepted. They figured the other money, he said he blew gambling or whatever, but really he had it stored away somewhere. So Phil said, a couple of years went by, he laid low, did some other shit, and then all of a sudden he gets involved in Southern Maryland. This guy has he's building, he's got a building company in Southern Maryland, builds townhomes and single-family homes and things like that. And he was kind of leveraged pretty high, but the guy was well known. He was making money, but he needed some money to get his project done. So Sonny had this cash, and Sonny said, look, I can loan you this cash to bail you out, but I want half your business. So the guy had no choice. The bank wasn't going to loan him money. He was going to go under, So Sonny gets in there, loans him the money, half the business. 2 years later, he forces a guy out, or forces a guy to sell it, or buy him out, so Sonny gets a couple $1 million. Go figure. You invest less than $500,000 cash, you come out with 2 years with $2 million. So he's got clean money now. So he's starting over. So that's how, he came to Baltimore and buy into the vending business with Ira, because Ira knew he had money. I didn't know that, so Phil said maybe that's why the feds are onto him now, because of this situation. A few years ago, maybe they've been watching him periodically. And I said possibly. I said he's pretty upset that I'm not going to take this deal. I said even Penny's calling my wife, calling Ann. And he's just Phil's shaking his head, saying, who stupid enough. And I said, yeah, all I've done for you, this and that. And he's like, all he's done for you. He goes, you from what I understand, you bailed him out. I said, yeah, I bailed him out of a lot of bad situations I shouldn't have put myself in. So he said, you got to figure your way out. So that's what I'm working on. I'm gonna figure a way out of here. So I leave there, and like I said, he's not talking to Sonny anymore. So I don't see much of Sonny. He's coming in, leaving me notes and shit, and I'm doing my thing. And then I hear through the grapevine, because I knew some of the other collectors, and I was friendly with Joe. He was the main operator in the Baltimore metro area, and I knew Joe because I would sit on meetings when Sonny wasn't around. And I get wind from his one guy that I saw him out one day, and he said, hey, I hear, Sonny's, shopping, his accounts around. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, okay, that's whatever, I got a list of accounts I got to go check out. And he's asking me, this one, Brandon's Pub, he's going through these accounts, and, he's asking about them, what he had figures there, because they got to go by the cash that he says, or let them go on collection day and see. But it's just, you're kind of trusting these guys. Usually you sell these businesses worth of 6 months worth of income, because the industry can be out the window any minute. They can come in and say, boom, it's done. And outlawed. So you're lucky if you get 6 months worth of the volume of the money you're doing. So his pitch was $200,000. So Joe's guys asked me questions about all the accounts, and he comes up to the curb shop, and I'm thinking like, the curb shop. He goes, yeah, the curb shop. How's that do? And I'm like, the curb shop's not part of that. He's like, what's on this list? It says it does $3,000 a week, and I'm supposed to get in there and check it out. It said, don't fucking go down to the curb shop. And the guy's like, what the hell are you talking about, Paul? I said, that's my place. I said, he goes, well, he's saying it's part of this package. He's trying to lay off the Joe, these 11 bars, and the curb shop's one of them. It's probably one of the better ones. And I said, fucking tell Joe it's not part of it. I said, I don't give a fuck what Sonny says. I said, I'll straighten out Sonny when I see him. He goes, okay, man, get that straight, because that's a big deal. $3,000 a week times 6. That's a big part of that $200,000, he wants for all his accounts, And he says, you're under contract. I said, I get a fucking contract with Sonny. One day I catch him in the office early. I went there early. I waited because he was in and out. He didn't want to talk, didn't want to face me, because I guess he was mad because I wasn't going to be a sucker to take this deal. So I said, hey, I hear you're shopping, your accounts. He goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, so what? And I said, the fucking curb shop's not part of that deal. Well, I say it is. I loaned you some money, so I say it's part of the deal. Yeah, you loaned me some money, but I paid you back. I never signed a contract with you. He's like, well, it's got to be part of the deal. That's the only way I'm going to get my $200,000, because it's one of the best accounts. One of the best accounts I have. I said, it's not your fucking account. I said, it's my place. If you want to sell the place, sell the account, the best I'll buy the equipment from you, and I'll give you per diem. I said, this ain't fucking part of the deal. You're not selling the curb shop to some other operator. It's my spot. If you don't want to sell me the equipment, I'll buy my own fucking equipment. I'll put the equipment out in the street. You know, he started to get a little, you know, oh, I've done for you. You know, he's getting a little loud and obnoxious. And I'm kind of looking at him like, and I had this look at him like, you fucking know who you're talking to? And he kind of calmed down. And I went back, and I remember way back, Sonny would tell me all the time, he goes, I never get upset with people because I always have the edge. I'm always in control. I always have a contract or always have somebody under my thumb. I never get upset. Oh, he was fucking upset when I told him that, you know, give me a price for the equipment or I'm going to throw the shit out on the street by my own. And I said, I don't have a fucking contract with you. I said, he's like, all I've done for you, I did this and that. And I said, wait a minute, motherfucker. Don't go there about all I've done for you. I said, I've been in the mud and dirt with you for 5 years. And I said, I've done things that I probably shouldn't have done. I've done things that I've never discussed on this tape and these videos for you. Don't tell me that I fucking owe you. I said, you want to sell the business? Fucking sell the business. I said, but the curb shop's not part of it. He just kind of stormed out, you know. So I'm thinking like, man, you know, I'm kind of working like, I feel like I'm, you know, a redhead stepchild. You know, I'm going in the shop. He's leaving me notes, do this, do that, not talking to me. And then one day I go over there and there's a note. It says sign this. And it was a contract with me, the curb shop, and his vending company. And I'm thinking like, motherfucker. I'm like thinking, I'm if he was in the office, I probably would have choked the son of a bitch. So it was early in the morning. I knew he was coming in. It was like 8 in the morning. He usually came in about 10. He, like I said, he didn't want to run into me, see me. So I ripped the fucking note up, laid it on his desk, left all my keys on his desk. I kept one key, went out, locked the office door, and I put it in the mail slot. I left him a note saying, I quit. Have a nice fucking life. I get home. By the time I get home, my wife's like, what are you doing home? You know, and you know, Paul's, I guess he's about 1.5 years now or whatever. And I said, I'm done, you know, I'm out. She's like, oh my God, this is going to cause an issue. I said, I don't give a fuck. I said, I'll deal with it. Phone starts ringing. So she answers the phone, and I can hear somebody screaming like a fucking maniac on the phone. And my wife's like holding up. She's like, oh, calm down, Sonny. Yeah, he's here. Calm down. I'm thinking like, he has no right to yell at my wife. She has nothing to do with this. Like, I wouldn't call up his wife and berate her and call her names, yell at her. So I get on the phone. He's like, you cock motherfucker, all I've done for you. You leave me like this. You couldn't do, you son of a bitch. And I said, and he's yelling and screaming. I'm like, calm down, Sonny. Why are you all worked up? You're going to have a heart attack. You need to come over here, or you need to straighten this out and sign this. And I said, I'm not signing anything. I'm done, man. I said I offered you a per diem for what you think the, you know, a payoff is. I'm not fucking cashing out a lot of money, and I'll buy the equipment. He's like, well, you need to come over here. We need to work this stuff out. I'm like, there's nothing to fucking work out. You give me a price for the equipment, and I'll give you a few extra bucks, or I'll get my own shit. I can hear him blowing smoke like you need them cigarettes in the phone. All right, yeah, just come over here and we'll work something out. So I get over there. I drive over there. First, you know, I have a coat on. It was kind of chilly out. And I put my .38 in my pocket. You know, when you corner a fucking wild animal sometimes, they don't know what to do. They may attack you. I own guns. I had guns and all. I had permits. You know, they're legal. Being that he had a felony rep, he couldn't legally own any weapons. But I knew he had a piece. I knew he had an old 45 1911 A1. So I didn't know what he was going to do because, like I said, he was pretty fucking irate. So I go over there to the office. The door's unlocked. I go over there and go in the office. So he said, grab a seat. He didn't say kiddo. He said, grab a seat. Paul. You know, not buddy. You know, I'm an asshole now. So I grab a seat, and I still have my hand in my coat pocket, my .38. I could see he's leaning back, and he has his hands behind his neck, you know, smoking, and the drawer's open. His desk drawer's open, and I saw him kind of look down at the desk drawer. So I'm thinking like he's got that fucking 45 in there. He's talking. He's like, you know, this all I've done, same shit, all I've done for you. And I said, you lent fucking drug addicts, drug dealers, over $100,000. Guys running prostitutes, dealing drugs in and out of their bars, 50, 60, tens of thousands of dollars. People you didn't even know. I said, you loan me family $25,000, and I pay you back. And now I'm a fucking motherfucking cocksucker. I'm the worst guy on the planet. He goes, well, we got to get this straight now. You just can't do this and that. And you owe me. I said, all I owe you is whatever the value of the equipment is. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a per diem. I'll give you $10,000, $15,000 on the vending stuff. That's the best you're going to get. jukebox, pool table, poker machines. I think we came to $7 or $8 grand. He took it because he knew he was stuck. Here like Phil said, here he thinks I fucked him, but I didn't. I paid him for the machines, and I paid him per diem. I never had a contract with him. I didn't pay him shit. I could have said, fuck you. Here's money for the machines, and walked out. But I gave him a little per diem, and Phil goes, well, in his mind, since he didn't fuck you, you fucked him because he couldn't fuck you. Meaning, I'd be holding the business, holding the bag when the feds come kicking the door in. He's still, blowing smoke, and then he puts his hands on the desk, and he's just starts. I don't know if this is. He goes, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to work. If I really push came to shove, he goes, he goes, I got all kinds of shit on you. He goes, I got all kinds of stuff on you, things you've been doing. If it's not true, I'll make the shit up. And I said, oh. He goes, yeah, how about I'll tell your wife some things. I said, you can tell whatever you want. I've been completely honest with the last few days because of how you've been acting. I said, and anything you think you have on me, you're part of it. You're the one that set me in to do things and take care of things. And I said, like I said, some things that I didn't even talk about on these videos. So he, starts, you this and that, and you're not going to get away with this and all. And I said, listen, motherfucker. And he stopped for a minute, and he had his hands on the desk. And then you heard a metallic click coming from my pocket. I cocked that 38 in my pocket. I heard it click, and my hand was in there. And I swear, his golf tan, he started to turn a little white. And I said, listen, motherfucker. I said, I'll tell you what. You have a lot more to lose than I do. And I don't plan on losing anything I have. So if anybody comes at me, we're done. This is it. I'll get you your money. This is the last time we're going to talk. If I see anybody sniffing around, anybody threatens me, follows me, tries to bust my joint up, I get a bad phone call, or even if I get an inkling somebody's following me or you're sending somebody after me to do something, I'm going to say, I said, you're not going to be around. And it'll be a shame because, you want to be around to make sure nothing happens to your lovely family. And he just fucking got more white because he knew I meant it. So there was no handshake. There's no nice seeing you. There's no thanks for the memories. It was pretty much, you understand me? And he just kind of shook his head. And I go back to, there's a book out there. I think it was Mary Shelley wrote this book. I think the book was called Frankenstein. And here, this doctor thought he could bring this body back to life and create this person, this guy, the function and be a part of society, but he couldn't be part of society. He was a monster. He was evil in a sense, depending on what version you read or what's out there. But I'm thinking like he was the creator of this Frankenstein, which was me in a sense. Wasn't happy about it, but being in this business and dealing with some of these people, it made me a person that I didn't want to be. And seeing my son as an infant, I'm like, I don't like the person I'm turning into. So that was it. I got out. So it kind of forced the issue. I got out. So I rolled out of there, backed out, rolled out of there. That was the last time I ever saw him in person. This was probably 96. Now this whole thing started in 90. So I'm out. At least I thought it was out.